Hello everyone and welcome back to round 9 of the WOR series. Yes, we're back this weekend here at Suzuka, Japan, an iconic track that has decided many of a championship in the past, and today it could do the same, albeit quite unlikely. We head into this weekend, of course, 3 races to go with the championship, and we've actually got a 38-point lead now after the miracle that was the French Grand Prix last weekend. Of course, if you missed out on that video, would highly recommend going back and checking it out. But yeah, championship permutations are as such. We're on 119, Ekelund is on 81, Barry is on 71 points. So if we outscore Ekelund by 13 and Barry by 3, but then we also have to make sure that we beat Ben, Jack Clays, and L. And Piastri also cannot outscore me by 8 points. Otherwise, the championship goes on. So it's highly unlikely we win the championship here. Constructors as well is even less likely. Williams would need to outscore McLaren by 41 points. And there's only 43 points available. So it would basically require Barry to come 10th or lower for us to win that championship. But hopefully, of course, we can just continue on the good run of form we've had in recent races. I'm quite nervous, though, for Suzuka. Get yourself a subscriber. We're almost at 10k subs on the channel. But let's do this thing. Well, here we are then, ready for the Japanese Grand Prix here at Suzuka. And like I said, coming into this one with a little bit of a different thought process. Of course, you know, got that big championship lead. Now is all about just trying to seal it up. You know, we're not a Max Verstappen. We're not going to be able to try and win a World Championship with 4 races to go and then still continue to go on and win races. We are absolutely channeling our inner Nico Rosberg this season, of course. Now we know mathematically what we need to do. That is all we're aiming to do between now and the end of the season there. But yeah, heading though into my fastest lap here from Suzuka. I'll be honest, coming into this weekend, yeah, I was really not feeling very confident. Suzuka's just not a track I've ever particularly got on well with since it got remodeled about 5 years ago now. It's just a track that I lack confidence in and really just never quite seem to get the setups right either. I find that I'm most effective with more downforce, and it just doesn't really work around this place because so much of the track is at very, very high speed. So I like having the sticking power through the first few corners, but yeah, very much lose a lot of momentum around the rest of the lap there. But you can see currently down in P10 as we started my final lap here of Q3, and you can see currently 6 tenths up actually as we make our way down in towards the final sector there. Still 2 tenths down on Shenko in front of me there as we make our way into the Casio Triangle. Actually, it was a pretty tidy lap for the most part. A little bit of a mistake out of the final corner there, but we're still going to improve by 6 tenths of a second, and that's going to gain me 1 spot at the end of qualifying there. So definitely was a little bit more time on the board that I probably could have had, but ultimately, yeah, just really lacked the 1 lap pace around this venue there. You can see we were within about 3 tenths of everyone up to about Sheepshagger in P4, but ultimately, yeah, just not quite close enough. And you can see there my teammate Ben as well, really struggling all the way down in P12. They're on a set of the medium compound tyres. And as we move into the Grand Prix, though, you can see it is going to be a one-stop strategy. We're not going to try and take any gambles in terms of the tyres today. Of course, you know, we've seen so many drivers do it in recent weeks, and pretty much every week still we get an early safety car in these races. So it just isn't the way to go. You may as well obviously just try and obviously get to the pit window. Of course, if there's no safety car early on, then fantastic, but usually there is, and of course then you just go hard tyres and try to take them through to the end of the GP then. But yeah, we'll wait and see as to how we get on. Like I said, I always knew coming into this one it would be a race of damage limitation, and of course, you know, just want to try and get to the end of the season now. 5 red lights, and it's going to be lights out, and away we go there. Shenko alongside me, really not responding to the lights at all, so it's going to give me a nice clean run as we head down in towards the first corner there, of course, avoiding all of the carnage that happened in the real-life Grand Prix as Piastri at the front of the field there, instantly holding on to the lead, but already a little bit of connection issues for Sheepshagger as we make our way through the first couple of corners there. He's lost a couple of spots, actually, off of the start. You can see he's lagging all over the place there. Looks like he's running wide into pretty much every single corner through the S's, but on his screen, of course, none of this is really happening there. So that's going to instantly leave Barry and I in a little bit of trouble there, as you can see, just running a bit wide there. Barry's going to try and look down the inside, a little bit of contact between them, and just as I let off the throttle there, Sheepshagger lags forward again, so very, very much early on we're going to be trying to dodge him. We've got Blood Axe, I think, trying to look around the outside of me at the hairpin, but not quite able to make anything work on this opening lap then. But as we make our way down in towards Spoon Corner there, we've still got Sheepshagger lagging around, so hopefully he can try and get that fixed as we make our way through the final couple of corners though of lap 1. It will still be Piastri at the front of the field there on a 1:31.9, but it looks like we've got a virtual safety car there as one of the Alpines behind me. He's actually gone for a bit of a spin, so not quite a full-blown safety car on lap 1, but certainly not ideal either there, as virtual safety car coming back in as we make our way through Spoon Curve once again, and it is going to be green flag racing here once more in Japan. But you can see over the next couple of laps though, this is just how bad Sheepshagger's lag would be. He'd have a look down the inside of K and just take him out and send him to the shadow realm there. Now of course on Sheepshagger's screen, none of that has occurred. Of course he's just seen K somewhere nearby crash off, and you know, maybe to him it looked like an overcorrection or something like that, but I think pretty much everyone early on here was just begging that he'd just leave the race, appreciate the fact his internet was screwed. At start of lap 5 now, we're actually going to get another safety car, this time around a proper one, so that's going to mean everyone is going to pretty much instantly peel into the pit lane there, apart from Barry, I believe Ekeland and L at the front of the field there. So 3 of my big championship rivals then opting to stay out very, very early on here. And of course, you know, if we can go to the end of the race on a set of the hard compound tyres, then we could be once again opening up the championship lead over a lot of the drivers that we're really aiming to at the moment. So of course we'll wait and see as to how things go throughout the rest of the race, but as we head back out then of the pit lane, we're going to re-emerge then down in P10 here, so not ideal, but to be honest, I just really wanted to be away from Sheepshagger at this stage of the race. So of course, as we get ready for the restart, we're going to be starting behind him once again here, so I was really hoping, of course, maybe that his internet issues would delay his start, and of course that we could try and then get the jump on him as we head back down in towards turn 1 there. But you can see a lot of cars on mediums, a lot of cars on softs and on hards then, so very much split strategy at this stage of the day. And as we make our way out of the final couple of corners then, it's going to be an Aston Martin just in front of me there, makes a bit of a mistake. L's going to really stagger his restart there, but we do get the jump on Sheepshagger, as you can see, get to the inside of him instantly as we head back down in towards turn 1 here. You can see Makaze trying to look around the outside of Piastri in towards the first corner there. Blood Axe as well on the inside is going to make a big mistake, and we're going to get 3 cars then before we even make it through turn 1 there. Sheepshagger's almost going to take me out through turn 2, as he must have been trying to slot in behind me on his screen there. But now back up into P7 we go then of the race, so pretty decent little restart, all things considered. And that's going to mean as we start lap 10 here, I think we've actually got the jump on yet another car that must have had issues there. I believe it was one of the Aston Martins towards the rear of the field. But yeah, now we're just kind of settling back in. Of course, we've got Ekeland there trying to defend from Makaze just in front of him. But of course, yeah, Ekeland and Barry, 2 of my biggest championship rivals here. So of course, you know, they're really on a bit of a staggered strategy at the moment. Of course, Barry is basically just trying to get these hard tyres as far as he can. Ekeland, of course, is trying to get the mediums to about half distance there, and then hopefully can box onto another set of the hard compound tyres. But the last thing I really now need in this race, of course, is going to be another safety car there. As you can see, K actually behind me somehow didn't retire from that wipeout down at Spoon Corner there, and is going to continue racing, as we're now going to have a look to the outside of Barry as we make our way into the hairpin. Good clean racing as always with the McLaren car there, and we do get just about around the outside, so that could be a critical move in the championship here. And of course Ekeland as well, just a little way in front, so we need to try and make sure that we get ahead of him as soon as possible here. But as we head now on to lap 11, now applying pressure to the Alfa Romeo car as we make our way through the Degners, and we might be able to try and get a good little run, but unfortunately it looks like an Alpine's binned it, and that is the worst nightmare for us this afternoon. We've got yet another safety car, so Ekeland and Barry have immediately been brought back into this Grand Prix, and I knew that we were going to have to be worried about obviously other cars, you know, binning it in this race. But this is really, unfortunately, where my race is going to get undone there, because every other car is going to head back into the pit lane. My thought process was just that the medium hot compound tyres were not going to be fun towards the end of this race, but I just had not factored in how far obviously we'd already got on the set of the hard compound tyres. So As we get to the end of lap 13, 13 laps on a set of mediums, they're not going to be fun at the end of the race, but they're certainly not going to be in too bad condition either as we make our way down in towards the final couple of corners. Though we are going to control the safety car restart, so hopefully we can keep it clean and tidy as we head back down towards turn 1. But we're going to now have a lot of very quick cars behind me as I try and build up as much temperature as I can in the rear tyres there, having to be very easy on the throttle as well at the final corner, and that means I just get no restart over Piastri in the Ferrari there. We're going to try and squeeze him down towards turn 1 there. He's still actually going to have a look down the inside and unfortunately just miss our braking point ever so slightly as well there with the compromised line. He's going to take the lead instantly as we make our way back through the first couple of corners here. We've now got Mikaze and L just behind us there, so two of the more aggressive drivers still in this league, so we're going to have to be very careful over the next couple of laps, of course, when they inevitably are going to try and look for a move here. But we knew at the moment it was just going to be about trying to hang on as best as possible over the next few laps and just praying towards the end of the race that in fact our hard compound tyres actually might still come back into it and maybe a bit more of a challenge to these cars in front of us there as we make our way down through the hairpin. Looks like so far we're actually hanging on alright here, but it was more just a case of the medium tyres slowly getting back up to temperature. As you can see, Mikaze just kind of showing the nose as we head into Spoon there, but we're not going to get phased by that one. We're going to still meet the apex quite nicely, but look at the gap already that Piastri is able to get off the restart there. He's got 2 seconds by the time we get to the end of lap 14 here. As now here comes Mikaze to the outside as we make our way down in towards the final couple of corners here. L's going to follow him by as we go side by side through 130R there, but just nothing we can do at the moment there. Ekelund now as well is going to say thank you very much. Very aggressive move actually by Ekelund through the Casio triangle there, so a little bit of contact between us as I try and get back on the road. As Barry as well really trying to go for it there, but we just get ahead of Ekelund. He actually gets the nose back down the inside there as we head in towards the first corner. Even more contact between us as I try and hook it up around the outside. Nothing happening there though, as K actually just shows the nose, so I try and jump out of the way, make sure I don't cut across him through the first corner there. And Barry's actually lost out quite badly in all of this because he's on a set of medium compound tyres as well, so he was going to be looking to try and be really quick throughout the second half of this GP, and it wouldn't be long though before he was still going to be trying to apply pressure to me as we come towards the end of lap 15 there. As you can see, still trying to hang with K as best as possible there, but Barry down the inside he'll go as well, as Sheepshagger as well just behind him, potentially going to try and look for a move in the very near future there. We just see if we can force a mistake at Barry in towards the final couple of corners there. Maybe just playing a little bit of the mind game still, but just show the nose and then duck back in behind him there, make him think potentially to outbrake himself. But as we make our way back down in towards turn 1, the main reason I hadn't pitted was just to try and get away from Sheepshagger as best as possible, because his internet was absolutely unraceable still at this stage of the day. And you can see towards the end of lap 16 though, he's going to have a look around the outside of me into the Casio triangle there, and we're just going to have a tiny bit of contact on the apex, and he's going to completely throw me off the road on the exit of the corner there. We get a huge snap of oversteer as well as we try and get back on the road there, and that was almost game over if we gone into the pit wall. But I must admit, I messaged him after the Grand Prix and sort of said, for how much everyone had to avoid you early on, the fact he just completely ran me off the road there was very frustrating as we run slightly wide as well through turn 1. So he reckoned he didn't realise he'd squeezed me out, but when his whole car's on the curbing, I don't quite know where he expected me to go. As lap 18 now, at 2/3 distance, we're going to be all over the back of Blood Axe again as we head back down in towards the first corner. But really, all we can hope for now is that we get another safety car before the end of the race, because our pace had just completely fallen off there. And by the end of lap 20, I'm actually going to take a gamble and dive into the pit lane here, because, if we get a safety car towards the end of the race, maybe we can recover something. But we were only going to lose the 1 spot to Blood Axe, and what a nightmare this had been here from Suzuka. We would get a small consolation prize. Unfortunately, K would actually loop it down at turn 1, and as he tried to rejoin, for whatever reason, we get disqualified from the race. So I'm not quite sure how that one worked, but that would instantly promote us back up then into P9 of the race. But really now, it's looking like it's going to be one of those Grand Prix of damage limitation there. So back into P9 we go. We've got 20 seconds up to Blood Axe up the road and just 7 laps to try and do it before the end of the race. Of course, there's not even any fastest lap bonus points either, so we are really in trouble at this moment there. We could, you know, just was not looking like we're going to be able to get much out of this as we go out of the final couple of corners, though. Bloodaxe actually was really struggling, so we're going to be able to try and actually complete the move on him as we head back down in towards turn 1 there. A pretty fresh set of the soft compound tyres against an old set of the hards is going to make it fairly easy there as we've got the confidence to get around him down in towards that first braking zone. But yeah, what an absolute nightmare it's been here from Japan with just 3 laps to go. Of course, no chance of a safety car anymore, and even if there was, we weren't really going to be able to capitalise from it there. But it does mean Piastri, after 4 runner-up finishes in a row, if you include the sprint race at Kota, finally is going to take his first race victory of the season. He's actually going to put himself in championship contention as well in the process. You know, he's certainly probably been the quickest driver, you know, obviously coming in at the half-season mark. Maybe, I think, to be honest, had he not come in at half-season, he probably would have been put in a higher split. But, you know, he's going to take a win here tonight. And we're going to come through for P8, all things considered there. So it is still 4 points on the board, but it is certainly not as much as we would have wanted in this evening's Grand Prix there. And it does mean, of course, as we look towards the championship standings as we leave Suzuka, we are going to be leading the way still on 123 points. Ekelen now is in P2 on 93 points there, so 30 back. Piastri is now on 86, L is on 85, Barry and Ben are tied on 77 there, so there's still 6 drivers with a chance at the championship. But with a 30-point lead with 2 races to go, all we need to do now at Silverstone and Brazil is finish P5 in each of those Grand Prix. And if Ekelen wins both of them, we'll take it by virtue of more wins on the season. So really, that's all we're going to try and do in the final couple of races of the campaign. You know, if we get a good run and we can beat those drivers, then absolutely we're going to try and take it as well. Because, of course, you know, the last thing I want to do is obviously go into Brazil, say, have a disconnect, someone wins the Grand Prix, and of course then we lose the championship because of that. But yeah, we're really just going to try and make sure we do exactly what we need to, pick up the points where we can. Of course, we'll be live again this Thursday night over on my Twitch channel. There'll be a link to that down in the description below, of course, if you want to come and see round 10 of the campaign. Of course, all we need to do, unless Ekelen win, is just finish directly behind him there, and of course we can afford to lose even more points to the likes of Piastri and L, as well as obviously Barry and Ben. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed. It is really going to be an interesting final couple of races of the season, but I'm very much looking forward to it. Britain and Brazil both provide some quite crazy races, so yeah, we're really going to have to be on our A game there, try to be risk averse as best as possible, and just make sure we walk away with a good championship result. But yeah, that's going to do us for this video, and we'll be back very soon. A massive thank you to all of my YouTube members and my Patreon supporters for their continued donations to help my work. These things go much further than I think a lot of you ever realise, and allow me to continue making content full-time here on YouTube. So if you want to support me from as little as £1 a month and be featured on all of these end clips, either click the join button next to the subscribe or head over to my Patreon. There's a link down in the description.